This video was sponsored by Raycon.
Come on, bitch! Sonic speed!
Sonic the Hedgehog. What a pickup line.
Hey! You know that feeling you get when you get a new car? The smell and the satisfaction of something that you own, that's something that's new, something that feels like nothing before. And then that smell goes away after a while and you forget that it was even a new thing to begin with. That's sort of like Sonic, but the inverse, where, you know, you discover Sonic, you're like, oh my god, he kissed a redhead. Oh my god, how was he in this? How the hell did they make Sonic boom? But then, after a while, it sort of just settles within your unconscious, and it sort of just becomes a part of your reality. But what you have to remember is, sometimes new people come and enter your car. New people will come and see Sonic, and all of that will slap them across the face and give them whiplash for the first time. It's a very long-winded analogy.
I think an odd absence from my channel is the classic Sonic Trilogy. Some of my first, oldest, and cringiest videos on YouTube happen to be Let's Plays of the classic Sonic games. It's even where Cat had his first appearance.
Cat, what are you doing? He's on my desk. Oh yeah, this. You don't touch anything.
It's arguably my favorite trilogy of games and Knuckles. And I think I put it off because I just didn't know how to talk about it. Talking about Sonic 3 is only meaningful if you talk about Sonic 2, and talking about Sonic 2 is only meaningful if you talk about Sonic 1. There's no timeline where talking about Sonic CD is meaningful. So, in an extra bold move, today we're going to be talking about the series that established the style of 2D Sonic games, and arguably the only time Sonic actually wasn't crap. We're going to be talking about their best traits, their worst traits, and Knuckles. But before we embark, I think it's important to talk about where I met Sonic. Time travel back to me on my 14th birthday. Sonic was such a cheap commodity, you could have the entire library of games with a pocket full of birthday money and the Walmart under $20 bin. This game was so readily available, it was like the Canadian Goose. Even in places you never expected to find it, you'd see it. When this game released, it was the go-to package to let you play most of Sonic's classic library, and today, it even holds up as a pretty faithful port of all of these games, compared to some collections. And that doesn't even mention the bonus content. If you played it, you know. I would go through these galleries, look at all these pictures, rewatch all of these videos of Sonic, the history of Sonic, and it would be where I established my love for the series.
There's no way they'll mess this up! What the fuck?!
Still, the whole point of Sonic Mega Collection was to introduce younger audiences to Sonic's classic games, and for the most part, they succeeded. I bet this is where many of you played Sonic for the first time, only for them to immediately F-Zero the whole series right up. Gameplay-wise, it controls like a dream. Touching these games with a GameCube controller is utterly perfect. But, it lacks the option to save, so I suffered through all of these games like Genesis owners of old. AKA, yes, this section of chemical plant is burnt into my unconscious. I will be near death, and as my life flashes before my eyes, the ages of 13 will be associated with these blocks, this music, and this color. So buckle in. While we are gonna cover all of these games, I've done this song and dance before, and I bet you have too. How many times do you need to hear about this being so hard? How many times do you need to hear about this barrel?
So we're not gonna go over every stinking detail with these games. I mean, you can't spell elaborating without boring. Let's dive right in.
Sonic the Hedgehog 1. What's up, buddy? What a title sequence to mark the start of the series, where we begin. The birth of an icon. A finger. I love everything about classic Sonic's design. Aesthetically speaking, of course, because Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is like the Denny Super Slam, but from one of those other restaurants. It's got everything, apparently, but somehow all of it's crap. This game is a toss-up between concepts for the blue blur. Like a 20-something-year-old going through a quarter-life crisis, Sonic is trying weird shit just to get an identity. But say what you will about Sonic 1, it put in the groundwork for what Sonic could be, what goes into making a Sonic game fun.
So first, Sonic is a character that can achieve high speeds. You go down slopes and you build up pace by curling into a ball, which gets the ball rolling with the gameplay. I hated saying that too. And two, which couples with the first one, there's an engine based around slopes, drops, and open areas, so you can build up that speed with your character, so you can achieve big jumps far and wide. Three, separate paths. This is where they can differentiate different playstyles and offer a bit of dynamic level design, whether you like to lock lips with the right direction, or you actually have a conscience and you like to explore other areas, often fraught with enemies, but also hidden goodies. There's always good music.
from as early as Mega Collection, I just got the appeal of this game. The sense of freedom you get from nailing correct jumps, maintaining your speedy, fast feet, the challenge of finding clever ways around objects without losing speed, randomly dying off the side somehow. It was great! In Green Hill Zone! Here we go, we're gonna talk about Green Hill Zone!
Every hill is green. What makes you so special?
Just like most of the player base, my playthrough ended at Marble Zone. God, this level is like that cousin you see once a year and somehow they still reek of cigarette smoke! Who wants to play Sonic waiting in line at the deli? This guy! I remember playing this so much, I learned you could walk jump off of these blocks and it was the funniest thing to me. I was the only male with 3 sisters, please, this is all I had. I have OCD tendencies! Right from the first game, we have the shiny, delectable, sprinkle-coated example of, hey, that's a fun Sonic level. And then, get out. Nobody invited you. Nobody gave you an invitation. Please leave. Wow. It's just incredible! I've not made a game before, but at least I wouldn't make something that's completely not like the first level. You don't go into the underground of Mario and be like, whoa, this is a different game. No, you got the mushrooms, you got the enemies, it's the same fucking thing. Why would you go and create something that's completely opposite to what you're advertising? Marbles should not make me this upset.
So first, obstacle-based gameplay. Basically, they have obstacles and levels that force you to stop and wait for their cycle to finish. That's usually it. Or they're enemies that throw a damaging projectile at you and you have to wait for when they're open. Could be fun! If the first level didn't do everything better! Just like a bad parent, level design that penalizes you for trying to do things you were doing in the first level. Enemies that just damage you what you couldn't see coming because you didn't play the game the way they wanted you to. You tried to go fast when they wanted you to wait. 3. You remember the separate paths in the first level? Forget what you like, you're not important! What you need to do is follow the level as the game developer designed it for. And Marble Zone does have a few little goodies hidden if you go down somewhat of a separate path, but it's like cutting through a gas station to make a right turn. Congratulations, what did you accomplish? And you know what? Even bad Sonic levels somehow have bops.
These set points are what we're going to be using as sort of an anchor in determining where Sonic has pitfalls. And pitfalls he has. Doing this makes it easy to run right through all of these games here. After all, these games all have the same formula. There are zones with a few acts in them, bosses at the end of the last act, and then optional special stages that deal with the 100% ranking.
So ladies and germs, if you ever find yourself being a level in the classic Sonic trilogy, just remember, if you're closer to a Green Hill Zone, we like ya! But if you're closer to a Marble Zone, please, you're not getting a Christmas card, alright?
Overall, you can recognize Sonic 1 was them getting their feet wet. What kind of gameplay works for Sonic? What's fun? What isn't? What's goddamn Labyrinth Zone?
No, I'm fine, I swear, I'm good. I'm fine.
Eat my own fucking ass! Literally, you gotta gently walk everywhere in this wretched beehive palace. This interior Swiss cheese will punish you if you even think of moving a pixel quicker, because in that singular moment, this microcosm of misery will strike you down with wannabe tridents or the spiny orb babies! Oh, sick, an open area. Nope! Hit! Alright, here we go. No, come on! Am I just meant to suffer? Is that the design choice here? Can we confirm that the level designer was going through a divorce? Oh, and they made Scrap Brain Zone 3! Another part of it! Can I get a takeout container? I've had my fill. Sonic 1, ladies and gentlemen. No ladies here. You wish. Most of my problems with this game is the douchey enemy placement. That's like the only way I can describe it. Maybe it's the way I play the game, but I try to do anything without standing and waiting, and I get an earful from a fireball. Sonic 1 has a handful of good things, and a handful of zones attempt to mix platforming and speedy sections, but there are way too many zones here that forget you, the player, this will come as a shock, you ready, are supposed to be having fun. Boss-wise, they're all serviceable at best. Yeah, I should change this. I have no problems with most of the bosses in any of the Sonic games. Most of them, it's either you must dodge and find a way to hit Pigman fresh, or you have to wait for an opening. And oh, do they make you wait. I'll mention the ones worth mentioning as we go forward. See, this is not a problem. What? And this is just me playing Sonic 1. What about 100%? No! 100% requires you to get 50 rings, checkaroo. Hold on to them to the end. Alright. And then you go into a coma. Great, I always wanted to try one. Why the fish? Why the rotating? Who spent time on this and said, I just don't understand my artistic vision? He must have been floundering when designing this. The special stages aren't bad. They're just annoying, tough, but they're not bad. It's the getting the rings I have a problem with. When they have these enemies placed in areas basically assuring that you will hit them, it makes it impossible to hold on to 50 rings. Also, getting 50 rings goes against the intended level design. You know, you're going up, down, whichever way, and not fast. Mix that in with getting crushed by some areas of level, and it's like, you know, I'm not getting all your fucking Chaos Emeralds, alright? So here's the end. Can you tell if I got 100%? No? Great, because I missed 2 emeralds. And you get nothing if you get them all. I love utility. It's like salad with dressing.
So, Sonic 1, it's sort of just you play it and it feels empty, you know? You start, there's your threat, you drown a bit, and it's over. I should be a poet. Sonic the Hedgehog. A gaming icon is born. It's in last place. Lol. But Sonic 1 is just missing something. It's missing a story. It's missing cohesion. It's missing a fox.
Oh, and the number 2 has never looked so good.
What kind of title is that?
Sonic 2 took what worked from the first game, refined it, and gave us something that breathed life into the Sonic formula. God, when people learn from their mistakes, that's my kink. I always loved how from Sonic 1 to 2, they're like, alright, but let's try this again. And boom! This art! Sonic looks like he means business! Tails! He looks like he's proud about some macaroni art! Robotnik, ooh! Carpets don't match the drapes, and the profile picture definitely does not match the man. Mega Collection be damned, I was always looking in this gallery. And the title screen, look at these boys! They were something, weren't they? So how about we hop in? What changed from this to that? Well, number 1, the spin dash. Speed up at any time for free? Yes, please! Now they've made it so the congested, claustrophobic, constipated level design won't stop you from actually moving quickly. It basically fixed the problem with some levels I've already repressed. Number 2, Player 2. Now this game is cooperative and utilizes 2 players and a new character, Tails. I had nobody to play with, only boy in the family like I said. Thankfully, the game has options in the menu to choose if you want Tails or just Sonic, but it just doesn't feel like right without him. Maybe that's just me. Are you waiting for me to say something about? Like, Tails is great, why would I hate him?
Oh my god!
So Sonic 2, amazing game. Sonic 2 100% is the worst in the series.
You wanna go for 100%? You basically need to stop playing the game like it was designed! Like Sonic 1, you need the 50 rings to unlock special stages where the 7 Chaos Emeralds lie. Cheat and steal you from all of your goddamn effort! Except, you get more chances in this game, as special stages are hidden behind these checkpoints. Meaning, you can get all the emeralds if you get 50 rings, walk up to a checkpoint, complete it, then go to the next checkpoint. Wait, no, I'm supposed to win. But this makes the game turn into a grind fest for rings. You could, of course, just play the game well, not get hit, hold on to your rings, get them slowly, but literally, some of the later zones in this game, it's like impossible to do this. Most of the time, I choose to get the Chaos Emeralds during the first half of the game so I can use it in the second half. Just, this makes the first half of the game garbage. That is because of the special stages 1 to 3. Yeah, they're tough, but they're doable. 4 to 7 are absolute hell. I'm not even joking, this is one of my least favorite minigames in any video game ever. They are so ridiculously unforgiving, and you barely have any time to react to the incoming. If the first game stages were fever dreams, then this is a drug trip, but you're at school taking a physics exam. I would not have a problem with this one if I could see what was ahead of me, and if Tails didn't fuck me over. He takes your rings, then propels to spikes like mosquitoes to a flame. This stage literally feels like it's sucking my blood and Tails is stealing my life force.
I'm not doing it, okay? Like, who cares? Who needs those Chaos Emeralds? For what? 15 minutes where you get to use Super Sonic and then you face the Death Egg robot and you can't use them? Why? Why would I work so hard for that? Forget it. How about we talk about the parts of Sonic 2 that people actually remember and like? The levels without the Chaos Emeralds, the goalposts.
So I feel like people love this game so much because they end up remembering the first half. Maybe like me, you stopped here. No, this is great. I love oil, geysers. It's orange. What's there to not like? It's got everything. The real fun acts are the first 4. They are wonderful. Emerald Hill, palatable, quick, green. Chemical Plant gets a bit tougher, but the pipe sections and speedy ramps, it makes all the hardships worth it. There's a reason people love Chemical Plant. Then Aquatic Ruin. Somehow, they made a good water level. You can choose to go into the water, or if you're a good player, you stay out of it. That's perfect. Even if you're in the water, you can zoom through it. But sometimes there is just way too much on screen. I couldn't even see that. Casino Night. I don't know, everyone always loved this one, but I just kind of found it annoying. Like, the concept is really cool, but this mechanic is slow and unnecessary, and man, do I love being in control of my character. Whew. Why is there the Adidas symbol? Hilltop Zone is sort of a mismatch of other zone themes from Sonic 1, but they make it work very well. I love the mountain theming and going underground. It's amazing. And Mystic Cave. Save for this, I mean, it's great. It's really when we get here that I start getting tired of Sonic 2. Oil Ocean hurts my feelings. Metropolis is 3 ass-packed acts filled with stomach aches you never could see coming.
I don't think stomach aches are supposed to bleed.
Then boom, boom, boom. We're done. Or at least I am. I'm not sure if it's just me, but the ending half of this game just gets ridiculously unfair. And super duper tough.
Oh, and Wing Fortress, they just dropped the ball there. Like me out of the sky. Seriously, you can't tell which way they want you to go here. I don't even know what a platform is.
Why do they throw you into this with no rings? Why would I go get Supersonic if I can't do the hardest part of the game? Like, you game over here? You think I want to replay everything up until this point? No!
Sonic 2 does a lot to make it great. I mean, unique landscapes, it doubles the amount of zones, the great music, and it fixes a lot of the problems I had, at least, with Sonic 1. Yeah, not all of the zones are perfect, but a lot of them get the core idea. You know, you're zooming through levels with alternate paths to find things that help you go faster and platform better. It took the right steps into the right direction, but it needed one final push. It needed more. I don't know what it is though. What could it possibly be?
Now, for this ranking, in a bold, never-before-seen move, I'm gonna rank the games as they were released. I know the digital age playing with lock-on technology is now the cool, lame, cool thing everybody does when they play it. And I know, yeah, cool, there's Sonic 3 complete! But this is how we're gonna be playing it, because this is how I first played it. Sonic 3, then Sonic and Knuckles, and then both of them together, raw dog, no fixes to the music, nothing. So, Sonic 3. Why are you looking at me like that? I'm trying to make you look good. This is my favorite game in the series, bar none. I think this is even one of my favorite games of all time. What a lineup. Undertale, Persona 5, Super Mario World, Wind Waker, Melee, and Sonic 3 without Knuckles?
So, why? Well, remember we were talking earlier, how are you by the way, you okay? About what goes into making the Green Hill level versus the Marble Zone level? Well, Sonic 3 actually finally makes it so they balance the crappy, poopy, garbage, slow Sonic levels and the stuff you want. The Green Hill Zone, the Chemical Plant, where Sonic 2 went on the right track, Sonic 3 repaved the way. They fixed all the potholes, added those little lights, a bike lane, and made it a true sequel. Let me show you what I'm talking about.
The game opens with a bang. Sonic and Tails whipping over the ocean on the tornado, and then bam.
What the f*** is that?
This is how I felt when I first shopped at Abercrombie. Hey, why'd you cut me off? Who's this guy? Okay. See you later.
The differences are already showing, like from 1, 2 to 3. In 3, the game starts and shows you what you can earn if you get those Chaos Emeralds, which makes you want to go after them.
Offer Knuckles a pop in, take you by surprise and steal them. Oh, what? Okay, well, at least the first thing I see is in primary colors. This is something to go off of. A reason the direction of right is of interest. So we get rolling. The first part of the level is aimed towards climbing and platforming in interesting ways. And none of that fun halting stuff. When you do platforming, it's a mix of sections where you don't have to be afraid to let it rip. Sure, you gotta keep your eyes on the road, but you're still able to feel the satisfaction of building up momentum and hurdling at top speeds. Even at the start of the level, a mysterious wall is blocked with rocks. And if my gaming skills mean anything, if something is left, then something ain't right. So you smash this wall and it leads to a giant ring. They're just giving these things out. So yeah, no 50 rings, no checkpoint, no end to level. It's just here.
And the best part, this is conducive to good Sonic level design. If you are going fast, looking for alternative paths, and noticing things out of place, you will often find these big rings, and you will be rewarded with a Chaos Emerald, which basically rewards the player for putting more time in. It's wonderful.
This brings us to my favorite of the special stages. Hit all the blues, dodge the reds.
Like politics.
It's strict timing and strategy, that's it. These stages never feel like bullshit because there's no dumb obstacles. Sure, you have to learn what the Yellow and Star Boys do, but you feel in control of this. When you lose, it feels like you lost. Not the level said, whoa, hey, you hit me, I ain't hit you. Sonic 2 feels like I have to memorize and regurgitate these levels like a test. Whereas Sonic 3 feels like I actually have to know what I'm doing, get to the end, and do it with my own strategy. Getting the emeralds this way was always better for me. They were spread out so they really felt like a special stage. They aren't easy to locate. Because of that, there was no chance I could grind them. Speaking of, what else changed from 2 to 3? Well, there's Sonic looking like he's holding in a laugh at a funeral. You got something to say, bub? Also, there's some variation on the aerial attack this time around. Base game, you press that jump button in the air and Sonic does a really sharp fart, which can extend his hitbox and save him from being hit by an enemy in a lot of cases. And then we have the shields, probably one of my favorite additions to Sonic 3. They all are basically mini power-ups, as well as saving you from getting hit and losing all your rings. We have the fire shield, which basically lets you hurtle as a fireball, as well as being impervious to fire attacks. The electric shield, which gives you an extra jump and turns you into a magnet for rings. And the bubble shield, which lets you bounce around like a ball, but also lets you breathe underwater. This adds so much variation to the play experience. Like Sonic 1 and 2, I'm always only thinking that I have to clear them in one way. Whereas this, you can take many different ways to get to your objective, often adding to the experience and making it fun. The bubble shield, honestly, it's amazing. Which kind of brings me to a sentence I never thought I'd say. Hydrosity, and I'm gonna get that tattooed on me. That's how I'm pronouncing it, and that's how it's gonna be for the rest of my life. Hydrosity proves you can have an entire water level be interesting. It can be fast-paced. It can be exciting. Even though there are platforms we have to wait on, it never overstays its welcome. And after every slow section, we are greeted with a speedy one. And oh, how satisfying they are. To this day, I love swirling down and down and up into the air. You're even rewarded for the different angles you choose after that jump. It is a fantastic level. Except these bosses, like, I don't know what you were going for. When people go and say, hey, what's your favorite Sonic boss? I'm never gonna go, oh yeah, the one that makes me feel like a turd in the toilet.
Like I said, it achieves the happy balance between the marble zones and the green hill. It finally has a framework for us to base games such as Generations and Mania, and is my personal favorite when it comes to the classic Sonic games, simply because all of them, when you're running through Sonic 3, are great.
They do all of this amazingly. Teach the players the level's mechanic, test them, and reward them for creative thinking. Then ramp it up, mix and match these challenges and make the rewards more appealing. Have platforming challenges that take advantage of Sonic's abilities. And reward players with the speedy dopamine pumping sections that give you satisfaction. Rinse and repeat, and that's a game. On a cosmetic level, Sonic 3 puts all the pieces together so the game feels like a united and extreme adventure. See, we fly on the tornado to the island that was the background of the title screen. Fire enemy scorches the island and now it's a fiery mess. We beat Robotnik at a waterfall and then get plunged into the Hydro City, which is called Hydrocity for some reason. Changing water levels cause the walls to change and make us plunge deeper. The Hydro City eventually crumbles until we're launched upward by a geyser into Marble Garden, now being affected by drills causing the land to shift, meaning we have to take to the air to fight Robotnik. After we beat him, we fly in descent into the Carnival Night. I have no idea what this is actually supposed to be. Then some guy from Sonic 2 punches something and there's a power outage. And then we're shot into a cannon to ice cap and then launch, oh, it's over. Yeah, like towards the end, they sort of drop the ball. It's easy to criticize Sonic 3, but don't act like you never handed in an assignment last minute. Mainly, gameplay-wise, this assortment of acts in succession are some of my favorites. And the conclusion, while not being as epic as Eggman cosplaying Tetris, it's pretty damn cool. It only really gets meandering in launch base zone with these douchey enemies and
never see it come back.
Sonic 3, I just loved it thoroughly through. I felt that I wasn't punished for doing the things I wanted to. I felt I could explore these levels, find the Chaos Emeralds, and feel the satisfaction of Super Sonic, as well as use him towards the end of the game. So I feel no hesitation in putting Sonic 3 at the number 2 spot. And this is almost essentially in order entirely, so who fucked it up?
So let me clear up what Sonic and Knuckles is. Sonic 3 was supposed to be these two together, but rats! Capitalistic greed trumps artistic integrity, But, you know what reminds me of a once warm embrace of another soul? Lock-on technology! So, they couldn't finish both of them on time, so they decided to release these games separately. But if you had both, you could slap that bad boy on top of the other and get all the juices from the one game and use them in the other. It's amazing. God permitted this to happen. But for my young, impressionable mind, I believe Sonic Mega Collection to be gospel. This is a game, and this is another. Until you boot up each of the games 20 times and unlock the rest. So that's what they call it. So if Sonic and Knuckles is the soulmate of Sonic 3, then Sonic 3 is definitely the better half. Sonic and Knuckles is like those burger places inside of gas stations where you think it's hype, but then they end up only having half the menu. Mushroom Hill is the best zone here. It's actually incredible, maybe one of my favorites. It's got a ton of wonderfully speedy sections, unique gimmicks like this one, the swing that utilizes speed and flying high. But it's clear this was meant to be the harder half of Sonic 3 and Knuckles. Right when we get to Flying Battery,
The game becomes like Marble Zone!
waiting for things, pushing things to open gates, unfair enemy placement. To be fair, some of the level concepts in this game are some of the most unique yet. A flying airship, a desert descent into the catacombs, a fire, then icy volcanic reef, and Sky Sanctuary. I always forget Death Egg Zone is in this game. It's on the title screen. I don't know what it is this just me? I feel like it's very lame. It even has this reverse gravity mechanic, and I still end up forgetting about it. I think it's mostly the mechanics here that make some of these levels a drag. Hey, let's not use Sonic's speed or physics. What does he have? Oh, he has these neat abilities like holding on to stuff. Oh, what about pushing things? Oh, and slowly at that. Seriously, for me, it's when you're in this lava reef fight, at the hottest part of this volcanic rock, an epic cinematic buildup to be waiting on blocks, staring into the soul of Robotnik. Gee, you know what a fun boss fight is? Standing around. Exquisite. Why is this boss fight the boss destroying itself? At least this is the only one.
Why?
Like, Mushroom Hill feels like the most complete and in-depth level. I'd argue because it may have actually been. It has varying paths, unique and dynamic boss fights, changing environments in the level. It even has this 3D section.
I feel like we're forgetting someone.
Yeah, remember Knuckles? Yeah, the guy from Knuckles in Sonic 2. You can play as him and go down unique paths. Hoo-wee! The versatility is a whole other subject, but it gives it so a lot of these games have replayability, a large value to Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I don't really hate Sonic and Knuckles, I actually like it, but it definitely feels like I fell asleep during the first half of the movie, and now there's an enemy vape. What did I miss?
Anyways, it's finally time to tie the knot.
Now, is this game better than the sum of its parts? Well, I'd tell you if I could hear myself thinking over this music. Well, thank goodness that's gone in this version. Along with this boss fight and the objectively better music. Seriously, it feels like going from a battle in an alleyway to the checkout at Staples. But also, big rings in Sonic and Knuckles are gone. First, you have to get the 7 Chaos Emeralds before launch base, then you get the Super Emeralds only in Mushroom Hill. And you only have the big rings inside of Mushroom Hill to get it. It's definitely a weird intermission if you do go for it. You spend as much time here grinding looking for rings, and then you come back with Super Sonic and a whole Sonic and Knuckles to go. I think it's fair to say, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, with what I talked about from each of them, is the best we've got. God, and like the end of the game, I know I said I wouldn't talk about bosses, but the last boss of Sonic 3 and Knuckles is, whew. Like, you get all of the Chaos Emeralds and you're rewarded with a new boss fight that you can only do with Super Sonic. You're flying through space trying to conserve your ring energy and beat Robotnik all at the same time. Music, scenario, it's all amazing.
So, I think it's fair to say that Sonic 3 and Knuckles is probably the best game here. And I know it's a Frankenstein's monster of a game entirely, but it still exists. Through all odds, it came out, and even though it may not be in the form they intended, it still, without any question for me, is the best in the classic Sonic trilogy. Trilogy.
I chose to do this video altogether because I feel it was the only way to show the value of these games. For me, I never had to wait for these games to come out. The Trilogy was always a package deal, and you could always very well tell there was progress between 1, 2 to 3. They grew, developed, as any series should want. I may have my issues with some of these games, but you hang out with your family long enough, you're gonna get annoyed if someone chews too loudly. I love each and every one of these games. Yes, even you. Even if you don't share my opinions, that's fine. You still probably harbor some love towards some of the games in the Trilogy, even if they may not be your favorite. The Trilogy to me feels complete, and I never play one of them without playing the others. And for years, this was it. This was classic Sonic. This is all we had to remember Sonic at his prime. After this, it was just shallow attempt at refining the 3D formula. But most of the time, you really felt like the glory days were over. When Sonic 4 was announced, all 5 stages of grief wombo-comboed me into acceptance all in one instant. I thought it was over. I thought this was it. Until we were gifted with Sonic Mania, a game I consider to be better than all of the first 3. A little bold of a statement, but that's only because it's a love letter to them. Similar to how the first 3s were expansions to the ones before them, Sonic Mania is an expansion of everything these games provided.
They aren't perfect games by any means, but they're the ones that I enjoyed playing, and it's probably one of my favorite trilogies in all of gaming, and I'm glad to finally have shared that love with you. But there is one game that I refused to jam into this video. One outlier that refused to take any of the lessons learned from any of the other games. Something that went down its own ridiculous path that I refuse to acknowledge as a real Sonic game. So, Cat, let's go to the past. Oh, sorry, I couldn't hear you over the box music from Sonic 3. Not to be confused with the music from Sonic and Knuckles or Sonic 3 and Knuckles.
So spoilers, I don't know if you knew this, but this video was sponsored by Raycon. No, I'm sorry to ruin it for you. Raycon was an exciting sponsor for me because this is my first pair of wireless earbuds. Because with other earbuds, usually I'm like,
Oh, I have to do anything!
or I'm trying to fall asleep and I end up tangled like I'm in Christmas lights. So let me show you the goods. It comes in this sick little shell, and this is where you charge the bad boys. And watch this, you can yeet them right. Okay, I'm not very good at it, but I mean, one day I will get it. This guy's the Everyday E25 and is the latest and greatest. It gives you 6 hours of playtime when you put the earbuds in the shell, and I've yet to encounter a time where I'd be out of battery. And I'm one of those people that falls asleep with the earbuds in, especially when I'm trying to ignore cat meowing at 1 a.m. So the noise isolation feature really surprised me because it truly drowns out a lot. Now the biggest thing for me with earbuds are the fit. One of my biggest pet peeves, if I'm going for runs or working out, they just fall out after like 1 meter. Luckily though, I've not encountered a problem with these guys. And if they don't fit at first, they've offered many different rubber pieces that you can put onto the earbud so you can find the perfect fit. Finally, these guys start at about a half price compared to other wireless earbuds. And the performance wouldn't even tell you that. So link time. Go to buyraycon.com/relaxalax to save 15% off of your next purchase. Link is in the description, and thank you to Raycon for the sponsor opportunity. Okay, Kat, I hear you. I'm very glad that I got to show you this sponsorship because really, these have been amazing for me. Give it a look. I'm very thankful that I got the sponsorship because honestly, I don't like talking about it on the channel. These have been hard times, and I think we're gonna start seeing the effects as YouTubers pretty soon. I'm not gonna stop making content, and I hope maybe these worries are overblown, and this is not me trying to tell you that, oh, I need you to support me. Yo, you guys are struggling yourselves. Be fine. I'm here to entertain you because I know people need distractions in this time, so please, take care, be careful out there. I know things are getting hard. A lot of you probably aren't used to this form of isolation, being inside for so long, so please make sure you stretch, make sure you're drinking water, make sure you're eating 3 meals in a day. Honestly, I'm used to this because I've done YouTube for a while, so I'm constantly self-isolated. So please, take care, talk to your friends, go on Discord, watch a movie, do anything and stay healthy. This has been Alax. Thank you for watching, and I will see you on the flip side.